Hi, welcome back to another list video, and as you can see I've made a bit of an effort and got myself dressed up so that I can tell you about office scents and 5 designer alternatives for Dior Sauvage. As you know, Dior Sauvage has been a staple of many people who really don't want to think about their fragrances. But I think given that it's been around for such a long time in its various guises, it started off as an eau de toilette and then it went to an eau de parfum and then it became a parfum and now it's an elixir, and there's also a very cool spray, which is very cool. But I think that there are some people that are kind of getting tired of that smell and maybe want some alternatives. So here are 5 alternatives that you may not have thought of because the marketing on them probably doesn't exist in this day and age, and I wanted to tell you about them so that you can wear them to the office. And one more thing that I didn't mention is that this list contains my secret weapon fragrance, which I've never actually talked about. Don't skip to the end because I haven't put it at the end of the video. It's somewhere in the video that I pull out my secret weapon fragrance that no one knows about. Stay tuned. Now, before we start the list, I'm going to give an honorable mention to the almighty.
I'm not going to be the person I'm expected to be anymore.
Bien expected. Bleu de Chanel.
Bleu de Chanel. Yes, I know it's boring, but it's a very well done boring. It also came in an eau de toilette, then it became an eau de parfum, but my preference is if you are going to buy it, you should really try the parfum version because I think that is the most well done out of the lot. They haven't released an elixir version as yet, but time will only tell. So if you did put a gun to my head and say that you must buy Chanel's Bleu de Chanel, parfum would be the one that I would choose myself. And it's very nice, but I don't think it has a place in my collection at this point in time. So let's start with the list. The first one I'm going to talk about is a flanker of the original Issey, which came out in the 90s. This flanker, I keep talking about it. I keep mentioning it all the time. It's this one right here. This is Bleu d'Issey by Issey Miyake. Okay, this flanker right here, of course there's no marketing for it because number 1, it's a flanker. And number 2, it's from 2004. And it's in the Bleu d'Issey line, which at this point in time, from the 90s to now, has had like 1,000 million different flankers, all called Bleu d'Issey something. And we're at the point where I don't think you can call this a flanker anymore because it's so different to the original scent, as are a lot of the flankers from this line that do come out. And as for this particular scent, it is blue, the bottle is blue, the name is blue, but it's actually quite a green fragrance. And when I say green, I mean more of a herbal green. You see, it's got the herbs of rosemary, it's got a bit of juniper in there as well, which sort of make it a little bit herbal, and it's got the green from the cypress. And that cypress is a very palatable cypress because this is, after all, a designer fragrance that is designed to appeal to a mass audience. But mass appeal aside, the quality in this thing is outstanding. It will easily last the whole day of work, and I think it's probably more suitable to the younger cohort of office jerks who like to wear smart casual most of the time when they're going to work. The next one that I want to show you is this one right here. This is Bvlgari's Man Extreme. Okay, it is a flanker to the original Bvlgari Man. This was released in 2013 and it's getting a tad hard to find right now. Now, the actual bottle doesn't look like this. I'll put a picture of it somewhere over here so you can see what the actual bottle looks like. This is a special edition. This is the All Blacks edition that was released, I think, in 2015. And if you don't know what the All Blacks are, they are the national rugby team of New Zealand. So there, now you know. Now, this right here, if you can make it out on the bottle, is a Maori design that they've put on the bottle itself. So there you go. Kia ora to to all my Kiwis out there that are watching. This is another one that will last you a full day, and it's very high quality compared to its price point. Now, I keep talking about quality, but what do I actually mean? Well, I judge a fragrance's quality by the quality of its base notes, because in the base notes is where a fragrance usually falls apart, because that's where it takes the longest to get to, and they don't need to win you over. You usually don't test base notes. Usually when you spray things on, you usually get the top notes and maybe a little bit of the mids that are there to impress you. And if they impress you enough, then you buy it. But most of the time in the base notes, that's where the quality fixatives are that attach themselves to your skin so that they give you the longevity. And that's where usually most fragrances fall apart. The quality ones, however, tend to keep going, and they smell like what they're supposed to smell like all the way into the base notes until the fragrance actually disappears. So using quality fixatives not only gives it better longevity, but it also makes it smell like the way it's supposed to smell like, and of the notes that it's supposed to smell like in the base notes of the pyramid of the fragrance. For most of the time in this particular fragrance, you get Calabrian bergamot, which, as you guessed it, is bergamot from Calabria, which is in the southernmost part of mainland Italy. It's a very nice smelling bergamot. And here the bergamot is joined by cactus juice, which makes it quite unique for a citrus freshie, which allows you to actually dress it up if you want to. But mostly smart casual would be fine for this one as well. This, I think, is one of Alberto Morias's finest creations that I've ever put my nose to. Okay, so we're midway in the list, and we've got Dunhill's Icon. This bottle right here is an absolute gem. Look at that. It is fantastic. It's a 2015 release from perfumer Carlos Benaim. And this is the elegant neroli and pepper combination that every office worker needs in their fragrance arsenal. Hell, if I was in the office every day, I would leave this on my desk because the bottle is so damn gorgeous. This is best sprayed on a freshly pressed white shirt. And whilst you might not get all day longevity out of it, you will make a very good impression on all of those around you. It is very elegant and very classy, but it still maintains a high level of approachability. The neroli in here works really well in the heat, and the pepper in here works really well in colder weather. However, in a climate-controlled environment, they're very balanced. They're ebbing and flowing with your circadian rhythm throughout the day to work with your body temperature. As your body temperature rises, you get a little bit of that neroli emanating from your skin, and as you cool down, you get that kick of the pepper. Hey, if you have a recent fruity and musky batch of Aventus, then by all means, you should wear that, and you should wear that to the office. But if you don't want to spend all that money, but you want to smell almost identical, pretty much, then you should really try this one right here. This is Explorer by Montblanc. Bergamot and pink pepper are a formidable combination in this particular fragrance. But the star of the show in here is a note that you can't actually smell. It's the ambroxan. What's ambroxan, you say? Well, it's an aroma chemical that's designed to make fragrances project off you so that other people can smell them around you. And it's also a really great fixative in that it makes a fragrance last a lot longer than it should or it would without it. Now, I consider this one a genuine 4-season fragrance. I think you can really wear this in any type of weather, but you should only wear it if you're comfortable receiving compliments all year round. All right, you may have noticed I'm not my usual self here, so let me revert back to me. All right, I'm just going to chill the fuck out a little bit and take this noose off and do a little bit of top button undoing. And maybe another one, because that's more my style. Casual. And now it's time for me to show you my secret weapon. It's a fragrance. Don't worry, it's a secret weapon fragrance. Now, I've never talked about this fragrance at all. I've made hundreds of videos on YouTube so far, and I've never mentioned it once. It's never been in a list either, and it's never been on any of my Instagram stories, reels, posts. Hell, I don't even think I have a photo of the bottle itself. It's my little secret. Why? Well, it's because of one particular topic, and a topic that I haven't really talked about very much, but I did make a music video about it. It's about compliments. And the reason why I've never mentioned this is because I have a 100% strike rate wearing this fragrance, in that every time I wear it, I am guaranteed to get a compliment from both friends or strangers. An unsolicited compliment comes out every time I wear it, but only if it's within the first hour of application, because this fragrance has got terrible longevity. Now, it's not a new fragrance by any means. It came out in the 90s, as a matter of fact, and it's not a natural smelling fragrance either. It smells quite synthetic. It is a designer scent, but whenever I've worn it, I've received at least one unsolicited compliment from somebody, even strangers who apparently are friends I haven't met yet. And this fragrance is none other than this one right here. Let me show you actually. It's this one right here. This is Polo Sport by Ralph Lauren. Are you surprised? Now, this came out in 1994, and I had a bottle of it in the 90s. I did get another bottle of it in the 2000s, and I've got another one now. Did I mention it's got terrible longevity? Okay. Good old Polo Sport, hey? I must mention that I've only ever worn the original formulation to this, and there's a few telltale signs, and if you know what you're looking for, you can get the original formulation as well, because there's still quite a lot of them around, and they're still quite reasonably priced, okay? Because this was never hyped as being one of those unicorn fragrances. Now, one thing you got to note is at the bottom of the fragrance on the sticker here. Let me hold it up properly. It should say that it's distributed by Cosmere. Okay, if you can read that, it says it should be distributed by Cosmere, and if you don't have access to photos of the bottle or something like that, it should also say that on the box somewhere that the distributor is Cosmere, which is a distributor that Ralph Lauren used up until I think the early 2000s or something like that. And if you also have a photo of the bottle, if you open up the cap here like this, you should see the atomizer here, which is silver. The new ones, the reformulated juice, is almost like a translucent blue plastic atomizer, okay? And the atomizer on this is horrible. And if you get it and you think it's a terrible atomizer, it's supposed to be like that. And now for the scent. Well, this has everything that is bright and sparkly and the kitchen sink thrown in it. It's aromatic, it's citric, it's spicy, it's aldehydic, it's aquatic, but somehow it just freaking works. This was unknowingly by me a blue fragrance, but I didn't know this, okay? So, you know, forgive me. But it's not the first blue fragrance. The first blue fragrance was Cool Water. Yeah. But this is the best one, and it's the one that I prefer. Now, I say this is the best one. I should really say this was the best one, because it's been reformulated and all accounts say that it's terrible now. You're stuck with vintages. So this was the best one, but because it's been reformulated, there's a new king in town. There's a new king of blue fragrances in town, and you will find out which one that is in my next video, where I talk about 5 alternatives to Dior Sauvage, 5 niche alternatives to Dior Sauvage. These are the 5 designer ones, okay? So for the office, if you have the original version and you're willing to keep a bottle or a decant nearby, and you're willing to spritz yourself every couple of hours to keep it fresh, then I would definitely recommend this over all of the others that I've mentioned. But only if you're comfortable by being constantly complimented by all of your colleagues. And there you have it. That was my list of 5 designer alternatives if you're getting kind of tired of Dior Sauvage and you want something else. So there you go. Those are very, very lovely, very great office scents that you can buy. They're all quite cheap, as a matter of fact, and they're all readily available everywhere, except for maybe the last one that I mentioned, which you might need to do a little bit more digging to find. So there you have it. Join me on the next video where I talk about 5 niche alternatives to Dior Sauvage. They're more sort of, again, niche but blue, so niche but acceptable. You're stepping up into a whole new price bracket and a whole new level of quality, but then you're stepping up in the quality of notes and the way that you're going to smell and what you're going to project like. So join me for that. And as always, thanks for watching.
Watching.